Hey my celebrities! Today we're going to be talking about cells and what's inside of them, specifically the organelles and what they do. This is a very basic concept of biology, so this might just be a little review. I do have to get the easy topics out before we get into the harder things. So let's just get started. So we have the Bible of cells, where there are 3 rules. Everything is alive, okay? Cells are the smallest unit of life, and new cells come from old ones, okay? So, I think we all know that. Yeah, you're made out of cells. I forgot I put that there. Sorry. I just realized this entire slide presentation is going to be like this, so let's proceed. Let's first talk about prokaryotes. Sorry, on my side of the screen, there's like chocolate. So let's talk about prokaryotes versus eukaryotes. I don't know why Rachel is there. That's for later. That was supposed to be for later, but whatever. So, prokaryotes, I like to consider them broke. They don't have a nucleus. The DNA is just raw dogging the cytoplasm. So, they have no organelles. They do have ribosomes and some functions, but they don't have like a set organelles like a eukaryote does. And these are like bacteria, unicellular organisms. They do have organelles. They're just no membrane. So the way I like to study is that I give personalities to these things. So prokaryotes, when we see them, we're gonna be like, ugh. We're gonna be like, ugh, okay? They're broke, okay? We're gold diggers in this situation. And eukaryotes, they're the sugar daddy, okay? They do have a nucleus. They have the organelles, which we're gonna talk about. They're membrane bound, meaning they are protected. And they're basically just bigger, slower, more complex. Their examples are us, okay? Animals, plants, they have nucleuses. The plants and animals differ, but we'll talk about that later. And when we see them, we're gonna go, okay? So, I want to show you guys this. This is like a real picture that like scientists got, and low key, we're pretty accurate with the organelles these entire years. Like, you see all that? That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what a cell looks like under a microscope. Whatever. Let's continue. So let's talk about the nucleus. This is like, he's a daddy, okay? I kind of wrote a lot, but I'm not going to read it from there. But basically, this guy is the boss. He has the DNA inside of him. He directs protein synthesis. He sends instructions to the ribosomes. And it basically just organizes cell functions. The reason you look a certain way or feel a certain way because of genes, it's all in the nucleolus. It's double membraned. For what, though? Like, this guy thinks he's all that in a fucking bag of chips. But whatever. Like, he has that. And it's basically just like a CEO. Like, let's think of it like that. So this is a nucleus. All of this, okay? And as you can tell, there's like quite a lot of layers to it. There's a ribosome stuck to it, which I'll show you guys later what that is. There's the pores, the plasm, whatever. You get the idea. The thing inside the nucleus is gonna be a nucleolus, so it's really not empty. But yeah, let's just, I rate this one like a 7 out of 10. By the way, I'm gonna rate them because I'm like that. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, if the nucleus was a person, that's probably how I would react. Let's proceed. The mitochondria. So this one, Hollywood for real. The mitochondria, like everybody knows that's the powerhouse of the cell. This is where they get energy from, basically. So yeah, this turns glucose and oxygen into ATP. It's a sweat, okay? Let's think of it like that. It's a sweat 24/7. He's always doing this. It has its own DNA, and if this was a person, like, they're independent. They don't report to the nucleus like every other cell. They also regulate cell death, apoptosis, that's what it's called. And honestly, like, respect towards him. Like, he's cool. Mitochondria's cool. I don't know. I rate this one an 8 out of 10. Actually, like a 10 out of 10. I like when I have energy. So yeah, a 10 out of 10. Mitochondria might be my favorite organelle. If the mitochondria was a thing, I feel like it wouldn't look like that. It's okay? Cutie patootie. I don't know what to say. Continue. Ribosomes! Okay, so we talked about ribosomes earlier. They were the like little balls stuck to the nucleus, and we also find this in the endoplasmic reticulum. Basically, what they do is they're like a gym bro. Okay, they don't really think. I feel like this is either giving like dumb frat boy or like peroxide bimbo blonde. I don't know. No hate to blonde. I love blonde. Anyway, they build proteins. Like, they perform translation. You can read it, okay? I know you're smart. But basically, like, they're just they're just stuck to things. And honestly, like, he's the least dramatic out of all this. I'm gonna put this here. You can see these little balls. That's basically what I was trying to show you. And yeah, this is what they actually look like up close. And this, to me, like, it just has to do with, like, enzymes and stuff. Okay, wow, I didn't know that was gonna turn. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. What can I say? The rough endoplasmic membrane. The rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay? It's covered in ribosomes, it's attached to the nucleus, and it processes, folds proteins, sends them to the Golgi. When I think of this dude... Oh! That's horrible. Okay, I just wanted you guys to see this. The rough. This, it's like right next to the nucleus. Yeah. Pretty simple. I feel like it would beat you up. Okay, this guy would beat you up. He's not here to play. Okay. Yeah, overall that's that. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Oh. What does this mean? Lipid synthesis. This means making fats, oils, steroids, like hormones, not the like gym kind, but like the gym kind. If you're confused, just ask in the comments. I know I'm stupid. Detoxification. It's in liver cells. It breaks down like drugs, alcohol, toxic waste. This is like it's what's helping with your raves. Okay. Also for calcium storage, especially in the muscle cells, they store calcium ions. They help trigger muscle contractions. Think of it like a little storage unit that releases calcium when it's time to flex. So whatever, unlike the rough ER, the reason it's smooth is because it doesn't have ribosomes covered all in it, because basically this is about lipid life. This is the cleanup, the ion management. So what I have to say to this is that, look, this is kind of what it looks like. It's right outside the rough one. So that's how you know. And yeah, I think there's this thing called, I forgot what it's called. It's like 4 letters, but it's called plur. Sorry, it's called plur. But like, he's trying to just have a nice rave in the cell. He's just trying to clean up things, you know, chill, whatever. I feel like, yeah, like, he's just a no drama type of guy, like, he cute or whatever. Oh, I didn't even try to hide any of this. Cool. The Golgi apparatus. So basically, this is like the Amazon Prime of the cell. As you can see, it's like this section. Now that one's, I believe, outside of the endoplasmic reticulum. But what this does, it modifies proteins and lipids. It adds sugars like glycosylation, I forgot what it's called, and makes them functional. Sorts and packages the proteins and lipids, and it's what they like are in. It's the vesicles, which I will show you later. They're like bubble mailers. You can think of it like that, and they ship them out to the membrane, to lysosomes. Basically, yeah. But if you have to think of it as a thing, it's a chaotic person. Like I'm telling you, they don't come to freaking play. Like they're gonna scream at every organelle, like, why is this labeled wrong, blah blah blah. Like they are a Karen, okay? I think I gave up in like editing this, but whatever. We have the lysosomes. This is basically the cell's walking rage room, and I'm gonna just go straight at it. These pictures, let's talk about them. These are the lysosomes. I'll show you later what they look like. So let's think of it like this. Do you ever get so mad, like you just want to hit something, beat something up? That's literally the lysosome's entire job, and it's basically the cell's digestive system, the trash can, the hitman, cleanup crew, all in one. So what it does is it breaks down waste, dead organelles, busted protein, trash vesicles. This is like a hungry frat dude at 2 a.m., okay? They destroy invaders, bacteria, viruses. It murks them with enzymes, okay? So it helps you. And autolysis. So if the cell is just so infected, so trashed up, it just self-destructs. I'm so serious. Like, it is... Low-key, this might be my favorite organelle for some reason. But yeah, like, if we all go down... No. If he goes down, we all go down, okay? And I put these pictures because... I don't know why I put the emo guy, I'm gonna be real with you. But I know why I put the werewolf. Like, he's just an angry man. Like, he just doesn't want to socialize with anybody. He's there for his job, and if he has to self-destruct, then he self-destructs, and that's what it is. So yeah, they're full of hydrolase enzymes, making them, well, the low pH is what makes them acidic. But I'll show you right now what they look like. Let me see if they're there. Yeah, that's that. They're just in the cell like that. So a peroxisome. A peroxisome is like the hazmat squad of the cell, okay? They're like the toxic cleanup. So the lysosome is the rage room. The peroxisome is like the biohazard disposal unit. That is so corny. Wow, like, who made me? I'm speaking like a genuine millennial. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, so whatever. What does it do? It breaks down fatty acids. It turns them into usable molecules. You know, it could also create hydrogen peroxide. Not important. It neutralizes toxins. It uses an enzyme called catalase, and it breaks down that H2O into water and oxygen. So yeah, it's basically just making sure everything is balanced. And why did I put helps the liver? I'll tell you why right now. Because, you know, a lot of college students like drinking, especially where I'm from, Miami. A lot of people party. So I'm telling you, this is the one to detox. And by the way, when you do like liquid drugs, a lot of it gets absorbed in your liver. So yeah, it basically like helps you from your bad decisions. It's also, I feel like it would be a serious person. Therefore, I put this war guy. I feel like they don't blink. I feel like they're traumatized watching you do your decisions. So yeah. So basically this is what it looks like right here. It's a lipid bilayer, which next episode I'm going to talk about the macromolecules. But yeah, that's what it looks like. I would say kind of review these. These arrows basically mean like reduction, stuff like that. Yeah, not important. Well, it is important. Ugh, stop coming for me. Anyway, the cytoskeleton, it's like a Pilates princess, okay? They're composed of 3 microfilaments. Here you go. This helps with the cell shape, the movement. The intermediate filaments helps with stability, and the microtubules help organize the cell, okay? I don't know if it really matters in biology, but just remember that it's made out of actin. And it's basically a princess as well because it helps with the skin, the nails, the hair cells. This is like keratin. So this is like the I got you. Like this is your best friend, to be honest. And you can also think of it as a highway because they're made out of tubulin and they organize the cell, they move chromosomes during mitosis, they transport vesicles. So yeah, like without these, the cell would basically be like a traffic mess. You don't want it to be congested. So this is honestly a very valid organelle. Well, they're not really like an organelle. They're more like they're part of the cell. Okay, and then we have the centrosome and the centrioles. So basically the centrioles, they organize a mitotic spindle, making it be that the microtubules pull chromosomes apart during mitosis. It's like a biological tug of war. They make the centrosome, so it's 2 centrioles plus protein. That equals the centrosome. I'll show you in a second. And they help form cilia and flagella. It's like the whip-like motion for certain cells, basically. So this is the centriole, and this is the centrosome. And distal and proximal. Distal is supposed to be like distant, so meaning that this is okay. So let's say they combine. They were like one big stick, like a churro. This part would be like the middle, and this is the other middle that sticks to it. And this is the one farther away, and this is the one closer, so that's why it's proximal. And the centrosome, I'm gonna cry. I'm tired. They're like, are you ready to divide the cell, bro? That's all I can say. Like, they just want to divide the cell. They're surrounded by pericentral material. This is like cytoplasmic soup. Basically builds the cytoskeleton support system. This is very important in division. It directs mitotic spindle. This one organizes it. So the difference is that the centrosome basically like tells them where to go. So it's like little lost freshmen at the first day of college. You have to help them. And it coordinates cell division. So both daughter cells get the same genetic like drip. I like to remember this center of the zone where the chromosomes get thrown. It's like a little rhyme. But also it's like these are just chill dudes. So I put that as a chill dude. Sorry, not sorry. Then we have the plasma membrane, which is like the cell's bouncer. It's like a gatekeeper, okay? And this controls what enters and exits, decides who gets in, who gets kicked out, who gets ghosted. It's also the reason your cells aren't just goo licking all over. Licking? Leaking! Get it right, bitch! Anyway, what is it made of? It's made out of phospholipids. So also, this is going to be important for gene staining. It's like gram-negative, gram-positive. You'll see that later in my channel. It has hydrophilic heads. Yes! So it loves water on the outside. And it has hydrophilic tails, which means it freaking hates water. So, yeah. It's mixed in with proteins, cholesterol. This is what makes it flexible, okay? And carbs, which is like, it helps with communication. Okay, it's like ID tag, so other cells know who you are. No fake IDs accepted. So, it's selectively permeable. It has to do with size, with the ID thing, as I said. That's why I put the little gossip thing, because it's like it signals receptors, like all the group chat drama, whatever. Okay, so how to remember this? Bouncer. Plasma membrane is a bouncer. It's like a membrane. If you're not on the list, you're not in. Bye. It's a two-phase lipid layer with bouncers, aka proteins, and ID scanners, aka carbs. Move on. Vesicles, hell yeah. So, this is like the cell's Uber Eats, okay? It can also be like a grenade launcher, depending on its mood. I feel like this little organelle is a little sassy for some reason. I'm just getting that vibe. They are small membrane-bound sacs that the cell uses to transport stuff. They're kind of like shy, but they do everything. They carry, they store, they digest, they fuse, they send stuff flying. Like, think of it like that. So they move materials between organelles, like the ER to the Golgi to the membrane, etc. The secretory vesicles, they ship things out of the cells, like hormones or enzymes. It's like exocytosis go. Endocytic vesicles, they bring stuff in from the outside world. It's like a cell eating the snack when it gets packaged in the little vesicle. Lysosomes! We just talked about that. Yeah, they are technically specialized vesicles full of digestive enzymes. But they're unhinged, so yeah. And peroxisomes. They are also vesicles, but toxic, so yeah. So they're awesome. And I feel like they're like this. She's cute. She a cute little person. So let me show you here. Look. Right there. Yeah. Okay, a vacuole. This is like the cell's water jug, the storage closet. It's like a fun little organelle, I guess. So basically it's a membrane-bound storage sac, and it holds whatever the cell doesn't need right now. There's actually very two important differences in eukaryotic cells in the sense of animal and plant cells. In animal cells, they are pretty small. Look. Where are they? Look. It's like these things, these green things. There's a lot. They store waste, toxins, sometimes food. They're chill. They're there for anything. But in plant cells, okay, they're huge. They take up like 90% of the cell. I'll show you in a second. They store water, nutrients, waste. Like they're the king of the plant cell. Okay. They also maintain turgor pressure, which is important to know. They keep the plant upright and firm. So what happens if there's no water in plant cells? That means the vacuole deflates and the plant goes limp. So that's why we see wilted when they're like dehydrated or dead. I don't know why, but it just reminds me of this. Do you see the vision? So yeah. So let's talk about the differences. A plant cell has chloroplast, which aids in photosynthesis, and it has a cell wall. That's why it's a little stiff. It has the big vacuole. It does not have like lysosomes though, or peroxisomes. And for the most part, it's very similar. As you can tell, it's rectangular. This was more circular. You can tell for the most part. The biggest things to know is like the photosynthesis stuff, and how to tell that it's a plant cell, which is like usually they have a cell wall. This is a prokaryotic cell. Feel free to pause. And we gotta give credit where credit is due. Robert Hooke, he's the OG, okay? He looked at a cork under a microscope, and he coined the term cell because it looked like a monk cell in a monastery, the Bible's medieval dorm room, and he went, y'all see this? This is a cellular world in here. So, he's the one that named them. Then it went Anton van Leeuwenhoek, okay? 1670s. He made super powerful single-lens scopes, and he was the first to see living cells, animalcules, I think, and he saw this in a pond water, in sperm, and bacteria, and he was like, bruh, there's tiny things swimming in my spit. So he was the first to catch cells in 4K, under a microscope, basically. Then went Matthias Schleiden, 1838, and he was a hype man. He's like, yo, all plants are made out of cells. He looked at it, okay? He's the king of plant cells, okay? Then we have Theodor Schwann. He said, wait a minute. Animals are made out of cells as well. And he teamed up with Schleiden, and they became a cute duo, and the cell theory became canon. And then Rudolf Virchow, he said, all cells come from pre-existing cells. He said, cells don't spawn out of nowhere. This ain't Minecraft, okay? So he just completed the cell theory storyline. Thank you. Thank y'all. Yeah, so that's it for today's episode. This was a quick and easy review. Again, I used to struggle a lot with remembering functions and where certain organelles in some cells were. But attaching personalities and pictures to these organelles will help you remember. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you know, you're not that confused even after all my yapping. But if you have any questions, leave it below. I'm sorry that I was a mess today again, but I was really tired. I've been like a firefighting right along yesterday and today. I'll just keep getting better with videos. But I hope you enjoy, and good luck in your next bio class. Bye bye. I forgot to put this, but it's quite simple to remember.